everybody, welcome back to Mal's Board Game Room. So today I am doing an unboxing video. This is a new game that I purchased actually on Amazon. And it was $12. So I was like, oh, I've never heard of it, don't know much about it. $12 is probably just like a so-so game. So I bought it, it arrived. The $12 price must have been a mistake or a fluke or a massive sale, because this is not a $12 game. It should be like 40 plus. Just with the components, the gameplay, this game is amazing. Now it's no longer available at $12 on there, unfortunately, because I think my friends would have been buying this as well. But let me show you. So the game is compounded, and this is the peer-reviewed edition. So it was released, I'm going by memory here, but I think it was 2023. So I didn't check when the original one had been published, but it's a game based on chemistry. And that was the reason why I wanted it. I was like, okay, I don't know why. I just really enjoy kind of the educational theme games. And this one just made me so excited, and I wanted to get it for that. So I played it yesterday. Me and Lee played it, and I was so impressed. This game is so good. It is so good. And as we're playing, it's like, oh my God, I am loving this game. So let me show you a little bit more about the game. So first I'll show you the rule book. So you have the rule book, you have the setup. It explains everything in this, how like the different action. This would be a worker placement, and then collection, like you're collecting the resources, which are the different compounds, and it's just so satisfying. So let me show you a little bit how it works. So every player is going to have their own player board. There's 5 different colors that you can pick from. Each color has their own little workers. So, but they're like little, like it was how it's put on here so you can see better. But they're just little, I don't even know what you would call them, like little jars that you have in the lab. And they are all different. I'm not even in let's kind of shift this here. But anyways, so they're all different shapes for the different players. So I had like a beaker one that I was playing as yesterday. And this one is just so cute. And that alone, everybody gets their own little container like this, and you're gonna have one on each one here. And this is kind of like a track that you're gonna be moving up. So as you complete compounds, you're gonna be able to move them up. If you reach the top, you're gonna score those points. So there's bonus 10 points here, 5, 10, and 2, 3, or 5 on the lab one. And this is the like the little petri dish. And this is where you're going to be keeping your elements. And that's going to go on there. Is it elements? I don't even know. Yeah, the elements that go on there. And the discovery tube here, this is going to show, depending on how high you go, how much you can draw, how many elements you can draw from the bag. And then in the study one is how many claims you can place on the board. So how many workers you're going to have. You start with 1, you can go to 2, then here you would get a tool, the journal tool, and then you can get up to 3 workers basically. And then in the research here is how many of these elements you're able to place out on the cards here. And then in the lab is determining how many you can hold in your petri dish. So because maybe you could draw 6, but you only have room to draw to hold 3, so you're gonna have to discard some if that's the case. I really love so this kind of talks about the players. So first you're gonna do the discovery, then we're gonna do the study, and then you're gonna do the research, and then you're gonna do the lab, and then I'll explain how those work. Over here it describes the different elements, and some are more rare than others, and I'm just going to show you what they are. So you have, and that would be like this one. This would be your hydrogen. So it's just a clear little gem. Then you have your oxygen, which is the red gem. Then you would have, do I have a, well, yeah, so right here, you have your nitrogen, that's the blue one. Then we're going to have carbon, and that would be the black one. And then you would have, after the black one, we have calcium, and that's the green one. And then the last one is this one here, and it's sulfur. And that's the yellow one that we have. So, and it shows on here how many is available. So the sulfur, there's only 5 in the game. So if you see that they're all out, that means you're not going to be able to get sulfur from the bag. They're very rare to be able to get. So that's kind of interesting as well. And there's that aspect that you want to keep up, because in the discovery phase, we're going to draw from the bag. So we have this bag, you pull in here, and then you get whatever you get, right? So if I'm pulling 3, let's say, what did I get? Well, I got a carbon and 2, what was it? Hydrogen. So that's what I would get. Then after you've drawn and everybody's drawn, you trade. Now, you would trade with the other players. In 3 or more players. In the 2-player variation, that's what I've got my board set up here, set for 2 players, is you have this little petri dish here that always holds 4. And you would trade between you and, I could be like, okay, well, I'm going to trade the blue and take a red. So nitrogen for, what is it, oxygen. So that would be the trade. Then the other player then can trade what they have for what they have there. It's like, oh man, I wanted the red, so that they can do. So you're not trading with the other player, you're trading with this one here. Now, if this one ever gets 3 of the same elements, then you would discard those, draw 4 new ones from the bag, so you have a variety that you can trade for. So that's really interesting. I've got these cards set up here in the 3x4. In the 3 or more player game, you would have it set up as a 4x4. So keep that in mind as well. So then you do the trade. Then that ends the discovery phase, and we would go into the study. And this is where you claim. So you can place your thing, and you can place it on the different areas. So you can place it on whatever that you want to be able to claim. And I could claim like with different compounds here, then I would be trying to add my elements to them to complete them. So whatever one, like I've got lots of reds, and maybe I would go there. So let's say I'm claiming this one. You can also go on the board, and over here there's different tools. So as you play, you'll have cards that unlock tools. And I'll show you real quick what the cards do here, just so you can kind of see how it works. So we have the name of the compound. So this is calcium carbide. And then these are the elements that are required. So we need 2 carbon and 1 calcium in order to create this compound. And it kind of just has like the thing of the different, how it's put together. Like, I think that's so neat, the artwork, and then like the science theme to it. But there's that. Then we can see that this one would give you 8 points when you complete it. And it's part of like the yellow. So this shows the form. So this yellow is a solid, green is a gas, and blue is a liquid. And then you can get some, such like water, that can be in all form. They can be liquid, solid, or gas. And you'll have some that'll be like 2 or different things. So depending on the compound you're putting together. Now, when you complete this, that's important because you would then be able to go up on, I don't know what that's there, but you would go up on that particular track. So you can go up. Now you would get another worker or whatever you're going up. You have the option, instead of going up the blue, the yellow, and the green, you can always go up instead on the lab. This one is kind of like a wild, so you can always choose to go up on this track. So that's how that works. You would also get this tool. So this one has like a benefit, and you have the tool. They're all explained on the player aid here as well. And that's how you would get the tools. They're all at the top of the screen here. So I would get this tool. I can put this into with my other tools. Now, if I ever use this tool, I would turn it over, and now it's been spent. And in order to be able to use this tool again, I would need to place my worker on that particular tool to refresh my tool. Now, worker placement style, somebody could be there blocking my way, right? So that can happen. So I'll put this back here because I was there. That's how that works. Now, one thing I didn't show is with the red cards, because as we complete them, you're going to come off the board. It's going to have gaps. We're going to draw new cards to add them. You might draw a fire. Some of these elements are flammable. And if they're flammable, it's going to show that with the red banner on the top. And if there's a fire, you have the option to spend a fire extinguisher to stop that fire, because there's a lot of flammable cards in the deck. You don't know where they are. They're going to come whenever. So if we both, in this case, like he doesn't have a fire extinguisher because it's been spent. So if we don't have a fire extinguisher or we choose not to, what's going to happen is every card that has this flammable is going to get a flame. And you're going to put this little red cone. And we have them in a little bowl here, and that's really handy because when we first opened, they went flying everywhere. So, so you would put that on there. Now, every time there's a fire on your card, that is -2 points, which is not great. So instead of being 8 points, now this one would be 6 points. So not ideal. And if you ever need to put a flame and there's no more space to put the flame, this compound would explode. And if the compound explode and there's gems on, or there's elements on it, then they will spread to the surrounding cards. Whoever has claim on here would decide where the elements get distributed to. And if nobody has claim on it, then it's whoever's the active player is going to decide. So that's kind of how these ones work. So that's how the claim works here. Then after that, we would go into the research, and this is where you're going to place what you have collected, the elements you've collected onto the board. In this case, and you take turns. So for like active players, whoever has this is so cool. So this is where you would put kind of discarded elements if you had to discard because you had drawn two more than you could hold. So they would go in here, but this also indicates the first player. So that's over there right now. So whoever has that would place first. So blue would place one, then I could place one here, and so on until you've placed however many you can place. At the beginning, you can only place 2 of them. So even though you can hold 3 and draw 3, you can only place 2. So you would place what you can. If you complete, then that's great. You'll be able to score that in the lab. If not, you would have to wait the next turn. Now, during this phase, you can also trade 3 same element for any one element out of the bag. So that's an opportunity if you have lots of the same elements and you're looking for something specific that hasn't come out. So that would happen during this phase. So once that's all done, then we go into the lab phase. In the lab phase, you're going to score your points. So if this one was completed, then I would score 7 points. I would mark that onto my board. And the board is based on the periodic table, and you have all the elements kind of shown on here. I love that. I absolutely love that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it kind of jumps a little bit like it does on the periodic table. So if you're in chemistry, or if you're a chemistry teacher, if you have kids in chemistry or whatever, this game is so great. Like it just kind of puts everything in a fun spin on it, right? Because I remember being in chemistry. I didn't love it. I did good in it, but this would have been great to play while I was taking my chem class. So you would do that. Then you score what you have, and you can decide how you score. And that would matter because if you ever score, let's say I scored 3, or we'll say 2 in this case, so 1, 2, you can't share the same space as another player, and you would then get bumped 1 ahead. So you can kind of get bonus points like that if you land where somebody else is. So that's great. Now, also, some cards will give the benefit of a grant. And the grant is after everybody scored their points, whoever has the lowest points can go up on one of their track. So we might be like, okay, well, I'm not going to complete that because I want to be lower and get, so there is some strategy like that you might want to consider. So you're going to do that. Then you can collect your benefits, and then those get discarded. So the compound that the elements that you've used would get in the discard. The cards go away. You take your worker back, and then you'll take a new card to refill. There's a tool that'll allow you to, instead of discarding all the compound, you can keep one of them and bring it back onto your petri dish. So if you have something that you want to use elsewhere, if you had a rare element you don't want to discard, then you can safeguard it. Now, keep in mind, if you do that, that would flip your tool over into the used up side, and you would have to take a turn to refresh it if you want to be able to use it again. And you do that until you reach 56 points in a 2-player game, or 89 points. I think 2 or 3-player game is 56, and 4 and more is 89. And that triggers the end of the game. Then everybody gets one final turn, and then whoever has the most points on the periodic table plus the bonuses that you would have depending on how far you made it on your track, wins the game. So that's how this game works. I was so impressed. Components are amazing. It looks so good on the board. The theme is great. Now, there's also these cards that kind of adds it's part of the, let me go get it and I can show you. So, because at the end of the book, there are a couple of, let me bring up here, variant. So you can have the lab partner variant that would add these bigger cards that you would need to have multiple people to work on. And it just kind of changes how you would set it up. So you would still have the single card, but then you would have those lab partner cards that could go into the middle. And those are just look kind of very similar. They're just bigger and they're going to require more elements, but they're also a lot more points. So I haven't played with that. Like I said, I just got this game this week. I played it just yesterday, the one time, and I was just so impressed. I'm like, I gotta do an unboxing because I had not heard of this game, but people need to know because it was so good. So that is the unboxing and a quick review of Compounded, the peer-reviewed edition. So thanks so much for tuning in. Bye, everybody.